This is Shelley Craft coming to you live on SNN Live. We're at the Growth Capital Expo, Caesars Palace, Las Vegas 2016. I have with me David Pace from Apivio Systems, Inc. It's a publicly traded company, APV on the TSXV. Welcome to SNN Live.
Thanks, Shelley. Thanks for having me here.
It's good to have you. Let's start out with an overview on the company.
Apivio's been around for some time. We started off in South Korea in 2003, and today we are the number one seller of VoIP Centrex phones in that marketplace. Right now our vision is to disrupt the enterprise desktop phone business, and in that regard we've built the Android desktop video phone. We sold this phone to NEC. NEC gave us an order. We've shipped 10,000 phones to them, and we're on our way to making the next batch and a whole bunch of apps to follow on.
Let's talk about this a little bit. Phone, video phone, voice over IP. This is a potentially huge market. Am I correct?
This is a huge market, Shelley. If you think about it, the cell phone market has changed quite drastically over the last 10 years. 10 years ago, we had this push-button cell phone. If you think back today, nobody uses those phones anymore. Everybody's using a smartphone. If you apply that same logic to the enterprise market, we haven't seen any innovation. The phones that have been on your desk 10 years ago are still the same phones that you use today. So when we came out with this phone, the ecosystem loved it. We went to NEC, we sold them the idea, they wrote us a contract. 1 year later, we delivered a phone to them on budget in less time than they expected. The market loves it. At the NEC dealer conference, a lot of dealers came in. They liked the product. They kept talking about all the different apps that their customers could use on the phone. We think we're really disrupting the market, and we think this phone's going to go places.
So I'm just going to think of a company that has a fruit in its name. How are they handling you? Well, I mean, not handling you, but what do they think about what you're doing?
This phone is really an Android video phone. If you think about the enterprise telephony market, that company with a fruit in its name doesn't really play in that market. They're making cell phones. Microsoft plays in this market. To a certain extent, Google is playing in this market. But really what we're doing is we're taking the Android system and building a phone with it. And that's what's different.
What's your background?
I'm the CFO in the company. I have a financial background. I was in Ernst & Young's corporate finance group for many years, did a lot of merger and acquisition work. A lot of people like hiring me because they want to do financings, they want to do acquisitions, partnerships, joint ventures, divestitures. That's really what gets me going.
Now wait a minute, this technology was developed in-house, right? In Canada?
We have about 80 people in this company, 70 of which are situated in South Korea. We have an entire R&D team sitting in South Korea. We developed all of this in-house, and we get it made. All the phones are manufactured in South Korea.
Along with a lot of other really fine products that are made in South Korea. The technology advancement that is taking place in South Korea is unbelievable. I think the fact that you have a product made in South Korea is huge. Does it have any negative or positive influence when you're going to market with it?
I think the South Korean telecom market is truly a leader. In many ways, they're way ahead of what we have in North America. So, for example, with our Office Centrex phones, if your company wanted a phone system in South Korea, you make one phone call. You call the phone company, they come in, they ask you what kind of phones you want, what kind of service you want. They sell you a 2 or 3 year plan, and they deliver you the type of phone you want for the type of service you want. They mix it all up. They give you one price, a certain number of dollars per user per month, and that includes everything. Whereas here in North America, you typically call the phone company, you call the integrator, you call the guy that sells you the phones. You make a lot of different decisions along the way. It's much more complicated. So we find that working with the South Korean market that we've done for the last several years, with the Centrex phones there, have really prepared us to be on the cutting edge of technology. We were one of the first companies building an Android tablet for NTT in Japan. We did that several years ago. And when we went to NEC, they looked at all that we've done in the South Korean market. They love the South Korean quality. They love the South Korean work ethic. They love the South Korean innovation. And that's really been an advantage for us.
So on a selfish note, when can I have this in my office in California?
I've got a couple of phones in my booth over there, and I'd be happy to sell you one.
Is that it? That's as simple as it is?
If you really want a bunch of phones for your office, I would give you the number of the phone of the dealer at NEC, because NEC is really selling these phones for us in North America. The phones are built to run on their PBX. We're going to be opening that up so that it works on other PBXs as well. But right now, the answer is really we got to call an NEC dealer.
So David, let's give our audience your website for more information.
It's www.apivio.com. That's apivio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, David Pace, Apivio Systems, Inc. It's a publicly traded company, APV on the TSXV. I'm Shelley Kraft. We're at the Growth Capital Expo. I'm on SNN Live, Caesars Palace, Las Vegas 2016. David, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Shelley.